This one is Nick. Nick is working on his pathway dynamic leadership. This is a level 1, education and feedback. Title, The Power of Positivity. In Nick's speech today, Nick will discuss the benefits of adopting a positive outcome-oriented mindset and how this adaptation can reverberate through every aspect of life. Nick is speaking from the dynamic leadership pathway. The project is evaluation and feedback. The goal of the speech is to practice incorporating feedback. Here to give his speech, titled The Power of Positivity. Here is Nick.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I have this guy. Did everyone online hear me okay? Nice. Yeah. All that we are is the result of all that we have thought. This quote, over 2,000 years ago from Buddha, rings just as true today as it did back then. But what exactly does it mean? Well, fellow Toastmasters, let me ask you a couple questions. Who here has entered an uncertain situation with negative thoughts around it? Perhaps it was maybe a job interview that you weren't feeling very confident in, or even a school exam that you didn't think you could pass. I know I've dealt with this. Anyone else? Yeah, I see a couple of hands. I came to realize over the last few years that when I enter these situations with these negative thoughts become a negative outcome. Now, on the flip side, who here has entered a situation with positive thoughts, thinking, I'm going to nail this job interview or I'm going to crush this exam? Anyone? Okay, good. A lot of hands. I also realized when I entered situations with a positive mindset, typically I ended up with a positive result. And so there's a strong correlation there. So to me, when I look at the quote, all that we are is the result of all that we have thought, it means that the mindset that we adapt, the mindset that we embrace every day, every hour, every minute, every second, determines the lives that we lead. Now, this may seem like a bombshell or a broad generalization, which in a sense it is. There's obviously much more to our lives and who we are than just what we think. But I've actually recently found quite a bit of research that supports the hypothesis. I first stumbled across it with a new book I started reading. It is called Prometheus Rising by Robert Wilson. And the purpose of the book is to take a deep exploration of the human psyche and really what incorporates it and what makes you think the things that you think, and the amount of automation that goes into it, which is really crazy because you don't always realize how much of your thought process is automatic. Those thoughts that just come up without you even thinking, so to say. So the book tackles that head on and gives you some tools to change this automation and take more control of your thinking and more control of the outcomes that you derive in your life. So the core concept of this book is that in the simplest form, the mind can be divided into two parts. There's the thinker and the prover. So everything that the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. Regardless of how absurd it is, the thinker will do whatever it can, or the prover will do whatever it can to prove what the thinker's thinking. So for example, if I come up here today and I think, I'm not ready for the speech, I'm not prepared enough, I'm not a good speaker, my prover will come in and look at everything that it can to prove that. So it'll say, oh, every time I stutter, oh, the thinker's right, I'm not a good speaker. Every time I lose my place, I wasn't prepared enough. And so this creates a negative thought cycle that really builds upon itself, where every time you speak now, you have that negative thinker and the negative prover proving these negative beliefs. But you can go in and change these negative thoughts to create more positive outcomes. So something I did was, it's nothing grandiose, you start small, but I said, I am getting better at speaking every time I come up here. Again, nothing crazy, but I say that, and as I say that, my prover goes about proving what my thinker is thinking. So I proved this by, you know what, I feel a little more confident up here, or I did a little better preparing and I was ready to give this speech. So when we really go in and learn to harness this power and take control of this, we can really amazingly change a lot of the outcomes we have in our lives with just a really small little trick. Now, I know it's one thing for me to say it, so I always like to give a couple examples, and you can look at the leaders of really any field you're in, whether it's hairstyling or finance for myself, athletes, whatever. I like to look at athletes. So Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, LeBron James, all at some point have mentioned the importance of meditation, visualization, and affirmation, all of which are tools to essentially program your thinker to think what you want it to think. So that said, I'd like to think that I got some of you guys thinking a little bit provoked and wanting to make a change. But I don't want to leave you guys just wanting to make a change. I want to give it a little bit of action. So one of the big things I identified, and I actually heard it come up on a podcast, it was really interesting, is when you have negative thoughts come in, there's a three-step thing you can do to replace them. It is called the 3 R's. So the first R is recognize. So if I'm preparing for my speech and I think, I don't know if I'm going to do very well today, okay, recognize that thought. Then replace that thought with I'm becoming a better speaker every day. And then repeat that new thought until it becomes your new reality. So by doing this program, you can come in, it can be with anything. Maybe it's you aren't feeling confident with a new job you were given in your position. Recognize that, replace it with positive thought, and repeat that positive thought until it becomes part of who you are. And then one last thing I wanted to say is there are also a couple of other quick tips you can do to, again, focus on that positive sort of thinking and just create a better all-around vibe for yourself going forward. So again, meditation is huge because it allows you to quell any negative thoughts that may pop up as they do. Visualization is big. If you're going into an interview, imagine yourself crushing that interview and you'll carry that momentum into it. And then a large thing that I begin to incorporate is positive affirmations. So just in the morning when you wake up, take 5 minutes and say something good about yourself. Say, you know what, I am doing well at my job, or I am a good husband, or something that I've been saying a lot is I am a winner. And it sounds dumb, it feels a little cheesy at first, but you say it, I'm a winner, and even if you doubt it, just the fact that you woke up that morning means you already won something. So with that, I hope you all learn to harness the power of positivity and take that into your everyday lives. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Nick, for the tips.